without getting into there's no seeker, there's no identity and so forth, you're putting out a message. And my inquiry is, do you have an instruction on where or how to receive the messages that come from people such as yourself or an Angelo or, Nadia, Shanti, all the stuff we're coming to and we're watching. But when I look and inquire and I look at, my identity structure, it's just a bunch of thoughts chasing thoughts, and this is listening to more thoughts. So where should we be receiving or processing or whatever? Do you understand my question?
I'm not sure. Like the receiving. Do you mean like should you be taking on the ideas, or should you be listening from a different place?
Yeah, because, if I'm just awareness that's blemishless, this comes in and floats out. If it's going in there and battling with my other ideas, what you even use the word you. Which you are you speaking to? Should I be receiving from? And do
Yeah,
you follow me?
yeah,
Like,
I follow you, and that's such a beautiful question and such an incredibly difficult answer. Ultimately, um, it's your true self, which you're right. Sometimes it's called. Sometimes we say that as you, like who you truly are is your true self, which is beingness and the empty looking. But that's sometimes going through a filter and sometimes it's not. And when I say a filter, the filter of the mind, so the filter of you. So you've got your true self and beingness, and then on the front of that you've got a filter. You can think of it like a light color. And sometimes you listen to a message and then the message just seemingly goes into the filter.
yeah,
Sometimes you listen and your true self hears. And the way that you know your true self hears is that you begin to expand or vibrate. So you might call it love, or your body might become intensely present. Like, so your body might, there's a presence that comes over you, so your body begins to vibrate with it. Or there can be a stillness that takes over, so these different parts. And that's what I call resonance. And to me, the way that I teach, I think that that's the most important thing that I do. I'm more of a feminine teacher, so you get more masculine teachers and more feminine. And for me, I feel like what I predominantly do is I'm calling people back to that stillness when I speak. Everybody is in a way, but they do it in different ways. But that's my main way of teaching. So in everything that I'm speaking, I'm trying to speak it from presence to evoke presence in those that are listening. And that's it's like the quality of it is a feeling of very aliveness, like feeling very alive and feeling of presence or a feeling of love. But what can also happen when you listen to me speak or you listen to Angelo speak is that it stays in the filter. So you hear the message and then it goes into the filter and then it stays there, and you feel like your mind is arguing with itself, or you feel like the mind is taking on new ideas. But that too is helpful, even though it might not feel helpful. And there's things that you can do to, if your mind is getting stuck, to shake it out of itself. But what's happening there on that level, which is a painful and uncomfortable process, is thoughts and illusions are being undone. And that's more the painful, uncomfortable process. However, when you're getting stuck in lots of thoughts, like, and it's going on for days and days and something's really getting you, that's actually good because it's really challenging a core idea. But what you can do is you can do something with the body to help process that thought. So yoga, breath work, somatic work, and that will help you process the thought, because thoughts are bodily in my mind. They're not just a mental, ethereal thing. They're also bodily. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard these researches into when people have transplants, they sometimes pick up other people's thoughts or memories. So if you have a heart transplant, like I remember this one story, like a lady, it's anonymous, but the lady deeply knew the other person, and then I think found the other person through these memories that were coming from the heart. And to me, I found when I was investigating myself, like my thoughts were deeply connected to the way I moved my body, the way I held my body. Like, so even if I just massage parts of my body, I could change the way I felt, or change the way I thought. And often when I was having a release, there would be energies that would appear in my body. So it would be the thoughts and the bodily sensations would coincide. So listening from both places have relevance. So our mind tends to tell us that everything is going wrong because, not because it's bad, but because for survival purposes, if you can look around and see what's wrong, then you can fix it. So our mind tends to say it's going wrong when it's stuck in the mind and I need to go further, but there's actually a process happening there as well. Ultimately, the calling is back to your true self, which is behind the mind. But even when you're getting stuck in the mind, the reason that you're getting stuck in there is because there's being thoughts and ideas digested and changed and shifted, and karma has changed. Ramesh used to say, you know, as soon as you get into this subject, your head is in the tiger's mouth. It might be slower or faster for some, but you're being deconstructed. It's not you doing it, but you're being deconstructed. So it's like you can't help but go further and further towards the ocean. Ocean meaning like oneness, and disappearing is like you're in it. You never really asked to get involved in this subject or to be interested in it. You're in it. How does that land?
It's churning around. That's probably the appropriate way to land because it's, you know, I don't know if you can see it's like swirling around my chest. And yeah, because where to receive it? Because you can sit there and think about it, you know, totally be in your head, or when you were just explaining, you know, it felt very present, right?
Yeah.
And I'm also not used to listening from presence. It's more of an active listening, you know, where there's so much information that comes in, it's just not correct, you know, normally.
Yeah.
So if you don't filter it, you just, you know what I mean? Then you end up storing a whole bunch of garbage. It's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
It's beautiful though. You know, most people don't go. They go the whole lifetime without listening for presence. Like the more and more that happens, the more the illusions will just fall away. So it's really beautiful that's beginning to happen. That's really, yeah, a gift. Like this subject is so unpopular and so not really truly heard by people. You can say it to 1,000 people and maybe 2 or 3 people from that 1,000, if lucky, might be interested. So the fact that there is some part of you that's beginning to listen to presence is just such a gift. Just that. It will transform you without you knowing.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Lovely to meet you both. Oh, nice. Beautiful.